Film is just so much better when you win a game.
That's for sure. We are breaking down film for Shador's very first NFL start. We have some good, we have some bad, we have a little bit of ugly, but I think it's the tale of the tape that really tells the story here because, you and I talked about it offline. Things like QBR, that stat that ESPN likes to trot out there, that's not telling the story at all. They gave a terrible QBR to Shador over the weekend, even though those that got a better QBR rating than him had worse performances. And of course, ESPN's kind of tight-lipped about how they come up with that stat line, so we don't even know what goes into it. My point is, film doesn't lie, so we're gonna break it down and tell you what we saw from this game.
Yeah, and let's just jump right into it, man, because that's what the people clicked on this video to see. And that is the first play I got here. So this is going to be the play where Shador takes a sack. So we're going to start it here on the tight, of course. And there isn't a lot to say. This kind of sack, typically happens. I'm happy that he climbed the pocket and then flushed himself out and tried to make an opportunity. I wish maybe he would have turned the wheels on. But you know what the funny thing is about this clip to me, Eric?
What's that?
The fact that Shador was loving the rollout to the right during this game, and if you stop it right there, I'm not saying Jack Conklin's sealing that edge and there's anything better going on there to the right, but he could have rolled out to the right and had a little bit more breathing room, maybe, in my opinion. Maybe I'm just being nitpicky, but I just thought it was funny because people are making jokes that he looked like Baker when Baker first came out, only rolling to the right. I mean, there's not a lot open there. If you look on the back end, maybe there's something there.
I don't think so. I think this is covered pretty well. So I have two issues here. First, some pundits were saying that Shador was in the wrong here. He escaped the pocket and took the sack when he was a little early in that. I disagree. I think he climbs the pocket well. I think that clock in his head was running out and nothing was really open. But my bigger issue is when you look at that wider part of the play, you have two routes on the right side of the field that are breaking in. So they're both going to be like slants that are breaking in right into the coverage. Where do they expect the ball to go based on this defense that's being shown? Um,
I don't like
that's
that there
never
isn't a
going to be open.
Yeah, I don't like that there isn't a check down option at all. I feel like that with the importance of making sure Shador can get the ball out fast, there should always be some sort of decent check down option for him. And I get it, the running back is back blocking. You could see it here almost at the 25-yard line, and you could see it here as well. Dylan Sampson running up to try to get it, but there was definitely not like he wasn't supposed to block and go. You know what I mean? Like he's in pass pro period there. So that isn't my
Right.
favorite, but that isn't really a Shador critique. It's more of a scheme critique, I guess. But overall, this kind of sack's going to happen no matter if you're Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, or a rookie like Shedeur Sanders, Cam Ward, Tyler So, whatnot.
Yeah, I thought he looked just fine there, and the people giving him crap for that sack, I don't know. I clearly they weren't watching the all 22.
And I'm gonna just give some props on this play too. Maybe it's this is the wrong play. Let me run it back over here. I mean, we were worried about his pocket mechanics coming into this game, and he steps up. He steps up. There's nothing there. He feels the pressure. He moves. He gets out. That's what you want him to do at the end of the day. I mean, the pressure was there. I think it's good pocket mechanics. It's a sign of good things to come for Shador. Let's move into that second clip that I already teased just a little bit. So, what do we got going on here? This is the play of the game, in my opinion, Eric. So you already know what's getting put up here. This is the deep ball with pressure in his face all the way down the field. 2-1 Isaiah Bond, right on the money. And I said, I'm going to switch back to this real quick. I said, film is fun. Film is fun when you win football games. So we can have a little bit of fun and give some credit here because this was a damn good football. I like Shador's entire demeanor here, especially. Let me jump over here to the tight. I know you want to say something, Eric, but look at who's in his face when we get to this point right here where he's getting ready to sit and throw. It's Max Crosby. It's their best defender. I mean, he was poised with pressure in his face and delivered a ball. That is an A plus plus throw right there. What were you gonna say, E?
Yeah, he looked comfortable in these designed rollouts. His eyes remain downfield where they should be, and he hits the open guy. That is not an easy throw to make. His footwork was great there. You have one of the best defenders in the NFL bearing down on him, like you said. This is exactly what I wanted to see out of Shador, and the numbers don't lie. Of the deep shots taken, he was clearly better than Dylan Gabriel, who took far more attempts with less success. He shows a touch here on the deep ball, and he showed it later in the game as well. Like, what more can you ask? This type of play, this is what I like about this. We have a run game, and now we have a quarterback with an arm that can keep the safeties back. So before
Honest,
you could
honest.
sell
Yep.
out, keep them honest. Thank you. Before you could sell out, and now they can't do that because they have to be kept honest because he has the arm to burn you. And we saw it multiple times. By the way, funny how maybe it's not the quarterback. Maybe, I'm sorry, maybe it's not the receivers, is what I'm trying to say. Maybe it's the quarterback, because we were lamenting all year long bad O line, bad receivers, like we have no depth, blah, blah, blah. Well, they got free in this game.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny too because remember when the season started, the first couple games, we had a lot of props to give to Isaiah Bond for his effort, and I feel like that's tapered off a lot. And we haven't touched on it heavily in the show because it's a rookie and he's a UDFA, even though he's not being treated like one, obviously. But he's a rookie, so there's going to be ebbs and flows to his game, but then you look at plays like this, and there's a play where he's going to be involved a little bit later on where he could have been open. It was honestly, I think, the Jerry Jeudy drop ball, but we'll get into that in a second. Is there anything else you want to get into? Let's just play it one more time because this ball was so beautiful, and I just love watching this play. I take a minute every time it comes up on my For You page because how can you not get excited when you see things like this? And then you hear the audio clips of Miles Garrett after the fact because he was mic'd up for the game and how absurdly he was acting and whatnot. It was a good time. You ready for clip number 3, Eric?
Let's do it.
Clip number 3 doesn't have to do with Shedeur Sanders, and it has to do with the Wild Dog. And yes, I'm still calling it the Wild Dog. We're making it a thing. Shout out G. Bush. But
It's not your
the
thing. Stop stealing G. Bush's thing, but go
it's not
on.
my thing. I'm just jumping on the bandwagon because it's a good name. Anyway,
Terrible,
let's get into
terrible.
so Judkins obviously scores on this play, but and that's all fine and dandy. But it's interesting to me just because of the fact that look at look, I'm getting baffled every time I see it. But look at the offensive line. Every time they come off the ball, there's not great push. There's not really any forward movement going on there. And it makes me think and it makes me wonder, is that why we only see this against the really bad teams? Because they can just add in another blocker and they'll score anyways because the O line's not getting any push? I'm curious if we'll see it for the 49ers game. I know this is majority about Shador, but this is how the Browns offense scored not once but twice. So I feel like we need to talk a little bit about the Wild Dog.
Yeah, I mean, you should give credit where it's due, though. Tight end pulling off there and getting a key block. Um, but I agree. I think it's more interesting from the Raiders' perspective. As we were lining up in this formation, I said out loud to the people I was watching the game with that I hope he's throwing here because it's obvious to everybody watching this game, whether in Cleveland, whether in Las Vegas, that he was running the football. How the Raiders didn't stop this is just beyond me. I mean, I think it speaks more to their lack of defense than our offensive prowess here. But yeah, I agree with exactly what you're saying. There's not a lot of push. Frankly, these should not be successful.
No, it's interesting, and the only time we've really seen them bust it out is when they play a team that they think has a bad defense. Think Harold Fannin was running this kind of stuff for the Browns in that Week 1 matchup for the Bengals. Obviously, Judkins against Miami, and now Judkins again against the Raiders. So I'll be curious. I know we're going to start shifting our gears to the 49ers here at the end of the week, but the 49ers do have a banged up defense. They're still a good defense. They're well coached. I think that's the big difference here right now. And I'm curious to see if they will bust out the wild dog against the 49ers or if they will kind of put that to the wayside and try to move forward with the, I don't want to say vanilla offense, but vanilla in terms of your typical handoffs, passing, RPOs, not doing a wildcat for the first time in a couple years in the NFL.
Well, I would like to see Shedeur roll out of the pocket and some of those designed rollouts in those packages as we're in the goal line or near the goal line. I will say shout out to what is that, Blake Whiteheart? Because I had to Google. I said the tight end that pulled, and then I'm like, wait, who's 86? I had to Google it real quick because not getting a lot of playing time, but he got a great block there.
I could have told you it was Blake Whiteheart. Maybe you should know your team a little bit better, Eric, but I digress. Let's move on to play number
Maybe.
4, which is unfortunately the negative of all negative plays for one Shedeur Sanders. This is the interception. And I don't like anything I see about this play. I said it when I was watching the game. He tunnel visions the whole time. There's 3 defenders around Jerry Jeudy. If you look in the middle of the field, David Njoku's wide open. If it's the pressure that isn't really hitting him that hard, if you see from this angle.
No, there's no pressure. This is just a bad read. He's not expecting him to. Who is that? Devontae or what's his name? Anyway, he's not expecting him to go out into the flat there. He's expecting him to follow the running back. So it's just a terrible read on Shador's part.
Are you talking about the cornerback?
The no, the linebacker that
Oh, yeah, yeah,
pushes
yeah, yeah,
back into
yeah.
coverage. He's expecting him to go out into the flat. So what you see there is, it's a quick curl route. He should be those other two defenders don't really matter because of the route. He would have been open. The problem is the linebacker pulls back and does not follow the running back there, and thus you have the interception. So it's a terrible read on Shador's part. It's meant to be a bang bang quick throw play, first read option kind of play. There isn't really a second read or hit your flat here. But he misread that completely. He needs to pull that ball down and not make that throw.
Yeah, 100%. The pressure that I was talking about isn't really pressure. I agree with you. I'm talking about Ethan Posick basically missing his block and Joel being late to help on that double team. If that's what he was worried about, though, even if he tucks it, not tucks it like running, but if he holds it, steps forward in that hole right there that you can literally see to the left, right of Ethan Posick, and then David Njoku's right there for a nice little 5-yard gain. So it's one of those
Yeah,
growing
but
pain things too.
it's one of those plays that it's almost like hitting a screen. You ever see those? I mean, I know you have, but those screen plays that are completely broken up and intercepted because they're just in the backfield before you expect it. Same
Yeah.
idea there. Like that was that first option. There wasn't a second option. He was going to hit him off the curl immediately, and it's a quick gain. And he didn't follow into the flat, and that linebacker made him pay for it.
Well, yeah, I get what you're saying, Eric, but when you have one, two, three defenders, you got a triangle around your receiver. You don't. You got to move
No, no,
on.
I know, but that receiver's coming back to the ball on that route. So those 2 that are deeper than him they don't really matter. Like he's gonna be open. The linebacker's what may and he even makes the throw a little late, to be honest with you. But the linebackers there is what causes this interception. He pulls back into coverage instead of following the back because the design of the route, neither of those other 2 guys are there. One's way off. He's 5 yards off of them at least. Um, I think he got this ball out late though too. I think you need to be making that before he's even making his break there. So definitely mistakes on Shador's part. And this, like you said, it's a rookie. It's growing pains.
Yeah, I don't like it at all. There was other options or live to see another down and just get rid of it or something. I'm just not a fan. You also had the check down, honestly, too, real quick. I'm just thinking about that now because the running back's not covered. Just throw your check down. He might not get many yards, but it's there at least. This is not there. You got to make sure that you know that that's not there when you see that. Might be Big
If
12
he's
open, might be Jackson State open. It is not NFL open.
if he was reading it at all, and I don't think he was reading that linebacker well, the linebacker's head was forward and his momentum was forward. So one could argue that it looks like he's going out into the flat to cover the back there. But clearly not, and that's a coverage that fooled him. You've gotta see that though, like, that window's just too tight. That window was always gonna close there. You've gotta see that and not make the throw, even if that's the design play.
Amen. Amen. Let's move on to the next play we got here. And this is exactly how the play should be drawn up to a T, except for Jerry Judy's -1, and I mean not like he lost my a point of awareness. Like his awareness rating in Madden is -1 for whatever the hell this little juke move he was trying to do on the defender nowhere near him to get the ball punched out. But it is a good ball by Shedeur. This is honestly the type of plays that I want to see more of, getting him out of the pocket for the time being. Like you've talked about, like I've talked about, just bad effort by Jerry Jeudy through and through. Do you got anything to add on that one?
Yeah, again, another design rollout. There's a couple things I'd like to add. First of all, this happens. Like punch outs are going to happen. I don't put this on Judy. This is a part of football. There's one part of this play that I did not like, and it is that the far receiver on the far side of the field isn't coming towards the action at all. I get it. He's kind of a decoy here. As you see him on the far left there. But he's never has a shot of getting that ball. And I get it, he's not the one that's supposed to, but I would like to see him cutting more towards the middle of the field in a play like this. Um, and let who is that up there?
I can't tell from this far out.
Yeah,
It
it's pretty far once it
looks
develops,
like
but
it might be
coming out
it
of the
might be
backfield.
it is it Judkins then? Yeah, it's Judkins.
Yeah, it is Judkins. Um, yeah, it just there's no point of that route for Judkins. If anything, like he could be another outlet for him, go 5 or 10 yards and then cut in a little bit. Just knowing that it's a design rollout. Again, it's the scheming that we're talking about. I just don't think that makes a lot of sense there unless they're using it purely as a decoy, but it's the back. I don't know that that makes sense either. But yeah, I love this. I love these design rollout plays for Shador. I think we need to do more of those and incorporate more of those. He can clearly throw on the run. He has good footwork when he gets out of the pocket, and obviously it mitigates the risk at some of our O-line problems, and getting receivers open and letting plays develop because that's been our biggest issue. We don't really let these plays develop well enough, because the timing's not usually there. You get him out of the pocket, you extend that a little bit, it alleviates that, and you see what happens. He makes a good throw.
Yeah, for sure. I was pausing it on that screen for so long because I was thinking you were gonna be done with what you were saying so I could get
Sorry.
into this. And no, you're totally fine. But if you see Isaiah Bond at the very far right end of the screen, if you really wanted to get wacky with it, obviously Jerry Judy's wide open. You throw that ball every time. But you could make an argument on that deep ball for Isaiah Bond. Is all I wanted to point out as well, almost at the 20-yard line.
Yeah, that's how many yards through the air? That's quite the ball, but hey,
Yeah,
we're a deep ball team now. I like it.
yeah, let it rip. I say that mostly in jest on that Isaiah Bond read that was there. By the way, let's move on to the next play, and I think this is another knock on one Shedeur Sanders. If you see him in the backfield, and this is funny that we're talking about this because normally it's stuff you see on the field during the play, but
Well,
he's
isn't
talking to
this an
the
illegal formation?
it's going to be an illegal shift, I believe, because then he motions
Yep. Yeah, they're gonna
that is
flag this
Dylan Sam.
immediately.
Yeah, and it's just one of those things. We saw it like 3 or 4 times with Shedeur in this game, and that's something he does need to get better on, is making sure the motions are set the right way and he's got the motions moving in enough time with the play clock and whatnot. Tommy Reese likes to run a lot of motion in the backfield pre-snap, and if he wants to get the full reins of this offense moving forward, he's got to continue to try to pick that up. That's any NFL offense, that's any level of pro offense at this point, but he needs to pick that up. And I want to just point out one thing real quick too. This was sealed off. If this wasn't an illegal motion, we were off to the races, my friend.
Well, I wanna put an asterisk there because we've seen where this view looks like it's sealed off, and then the play continues for 2 more seconds, and all of a sudden somebody whiffs their block. So, yes, it looks like it's sealed off. I will say I'm gonna go on record, a little off the cuff here. I think these are such dumb rules. The illegal formations, the like, a certain guy needs to be set at the line and another guy has to be off, but, like, these are so dumb. Why do we have these rules? I don't understand them, like, just get rid of them.
Fair enough, I guess. I don't completely agree as the football purist, but I'm not going to sit here and debate in the film room about the rules of the
Doesn't
game
make the
of
game
football.
better, though.
And there's rules for a reason, buddy. I'll just leave it at
Alright,
that.
you probably still want a 5-hour baseball game, but it's okay.
That's not
What's
true.
our
You
next
know I
clip?
don't want that. Let's get into the next clip, which is another example of effort, in my opinion. This is a quick clip, but we're looking at Tillman on the backside. I'm pausing it for a second
Yeah,
while I
where he just
talk.
stops his route?
This is where he stops his route. And I get it to an extent. It's bad effort on him. There's no excuse for that at the end of the day. But I also get it. It's giving me deja vu of when Baker was here. You remember when our receivers could not figure out how to do the scramble drill to save their life when Baker first finally got on the field? It's almost the same type of effort. Obviously, this isn't the scramble drill. Shedeur is in the pocket. He lets it rip right away because he sees it's a one on one ball that he can throw up to his guy and let him try to make a play. That being said, these receivers aren't used to that. So therefore, he's like, all right, well, I have the guy over me. I'm not getting the ball thrown to me. And then he's like, oh shit, the ball's coming to me. Let me try to put the gas on and catch it beforehand. It's not the best ball ever, but it's one of those examples of effort. I want to make sure my
It's
take
not
is
a
right when I
terrible ball, though. He has a shot if he actually plays through,
yeah, if that I mean
and here's the
if he
thing
jumps
too,
up and gets it.
if you play through that contact too, you might draw a flag. So
Yeah.
to give up on the play is just asinine. I agree with what you're saying. I see this all the time, especially in the scramble, and I know this wasn't a scramble drill, but what you're saying is dead on accurate. It's so frustrating to see these guys. You have your QB scrambling, and I don't care if it was Dylan or Shador, and they just sit in their route and there's somebody on them and they're not like keep moving. It's like in the NBA when they're just sitting and not moving off ball, like just keep moving, especially when you have a mobile quarterback like this or more mobile quarterback. There's going to be opportunities where it's going to be, hey, go that way past the old Buick kind of situation. You got to get a little more backyard football here because you will be open at times and he's going to be able to hit you.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what these receivers do as Shador hopefully continues to start because of how promising his first real start was in the NFL. But hopefully, we can see what these receivers look like and start to develop and move into a direction where they can play that kind of football and be okay with it. Maybe that helps unlock a guy like Cedric Tillman. Maybe that gives Jeudy more confidence instead of the moping and all the stuff that we've seen on the sideline from him as of recent. Maybe this helps. We will see. It's one game. There is plenty of football left in this NFL season, and Cleveland Browns football just got exciting yet again. I say all of that. I've got one more clip I want to play, and I probably should have not left this one last because it's going to end us on a negative note. But this is a knock on Shador, and I want to point it out because it needs to be pointed out. It's worth pointing out. So this is towards the end of the game. We haven't officially locked it up, but it's another design rollout. And he's looking, he kind of locks onto the backside of the field. My problem with this is if he just looks at his number one receiver, he ran a pretty good route, a pretty deep curl, and he's wide open right there past the 50-yard line. Really, when he comes up at it, he'll probably catch it a little before the 50-yard line. But if Shador completes that pass, man, that is a nice, what, 20 ish yard gain, give or take five. I just want to see him see those types of balls and take the easiest path given to him sometimes. And again, that will come. He's a young quarterback, and now he's starting to gain his confidence in this league. So I'm not using this as a way to drag him, but I want to see more of him just taking those easy options sometime.
Well, I know we've said it, but let's end on a positive. The first rookie quarterback for the Browns since 1999 to win a football game for them. I mean,
Yeah.
that's all you need to know right now. He's also one of the first quarterbacks, newly starting quarterbacks for the Browns to win since like I don't remember when was it 2017? It's been a long time, that's for sure, as a
Yeah.
starter. So let's put credit where it's due. Yes, he needs to grow. We already saw a little bit of growth. I didn't see as much pocket drift like we expected. He climbed in the pocket better. Like he's working on some of those things. I have no doubt that this kid will continue to grow. I gotta say, I have no idea what Mary Kay is saying when she says we should see more Dylan Gabriel. Like, expect to see more. You should see more. You want to see more. I'm not sure what she's talking about because no, I've seen enough of Dylan Gabriel. It's time for Shedeur. Give him a chunk of games and let's see what we have here. And so far, what we have is pretty solid. There are
1 and
going to
0.
be growing pains, but this kid can ball. Period.
One last thing I want to point out. I agree with everything you're saying, Eric, but I was just looking at my notes one more time from my film breakdown. I wonder,
I
and
just
this
went to
is just a
positive.
well,
You're
I
going
want
back to
this isn't going negative. This is me
okay,
posing a typical question. I'm not coming at I wasn't coming at Shador to start with, but I'm not coming at Shador now. But he tunnels on to Harold Finn, and that's that receiver that looks like he could get open potentially over here in the middle, but doesn't. He has three defenders around him. It's almost like the same coverage that he threw the pick into. I wonder if, with how good of a game Fannin had and how Jeudy just wasn't clicking. You know, he had the fumble. His body language was reported as rough on the sideline. If he was more so thinking of getting the ball to the hot hand, and that's what bit him there. It's just a observation I made. You think that could be
maybe.
true? Maybe.
No, I think as you're in the moment and you have an internal clock of I need to get rid of the football, and you have linemen and linebackers bearing down on you, and you're trying to get the ball out, I don't think it's going through your head. Hey, Fannon's been kind of hot today. Like, no, I don't even think he has time to think that, frankly.
Hey, I was just pointing out something I was thinking about because this was after, you know, Fannin big bodied people three or four times in this game, and Judy obviously fumbled that football. So maybe it was just a little bit, and maybe it was just subconscious. He's looking for a guy that he trusts. Maybe he was doing the hungry dog periods with Shador, and because Judy doesn't do that because he's a starter on this roster, maybe he should go do some hungry dog periods this week. I don't know. Um, that's why Shador was looking at him. But there was also the report of Shador, you know, dapping up Judy saying, "You're fine, man. I'm gonna get you the ball the next drive. We're good." Doing that leadership stuff that we like to see out of him.
The hungry dogs. I gotta say, we talked about this a little bit in yesterday's episode, but we talked about Stefanski's weird energy in the locker room. And I don't know if it's just because I moved on from Stefanski at this point, but when I hear things like, "Oh, he started the hungry dogs, this initiative, blah blah blah," all I can do is like roll my eyes, like, great, another Stefanski thing. Maybe it's just because I'm too far gone at this point, but I don't know. Nothing sounds right now for me. I don't think you could get me back.
Well, if Kevin Stefanski does in fact lose his job after this season, he would make one hell of a marketer with all the names and slogans he's come up with for this horrible football team over the years of ups and downs and sideways and turned over that he has coached through the Cleveland Browns. So maybe he has
I
a
could
job in
see him.
marketing.
I could see him in the boardroom now when the CEO's going, "Why has this campaign not done anything for us, Kevin? I just got to do better. We just got to do better."
I've got to
Yeah,
come
maybe it'll
up with a
work.
better name. It's not the Hungry Dogs. It's the Hungry Dogs. And we sell it like a board game, but instead of the hippos, it's okay. I'm just getting off a tangent. This has been great. Everybody enjoy their Thanksgiving. If you're going out tonight on Wednesday, please be safe. Please call an Uber. Do not drive your car. And enjoy yourself because the Cleveland Browns won a football game. So it is victory week, baby.
It is, and more importantly, not than safety, yes, be safe, but more importantly, there is a lot of great football this weekend. There's NFL games, obviously, on Thanksgiving. There's also one on Friday. There are some rivalry games on Friday in college football as well. And of course, Ohio State at the team up north. We won't say that name. We're going to be previewing that show this week as well. But it's rivalry week, and this is like the best weekend for football. Ever, basically.
Of all time, Eric, get us out of here, man.
All right, the debate never ends, but the show does for now. We'll see you next time.